These Korean chicken kebabs are the perfect meal to add to your weeknight rotation. They're composed of a sweet and spicy marinated chicken thigh, red peppers, sweet onions, and mushrooms. Throw in a pot of rice, and by the time it has finished cooking, you can have the kebabs ready. Here's how I make them. To start, you got to make your chicken and vegetable marinade. Into a large bowl, mix together 2 tablespoons or 28 grams of mayo, 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of gochujang, 1 tablespoon or 21 grams of honey, 2 teaspoons or 10 grams of soy sauce, and then 2 teaspoons or 6 grams of gochugaru. Stir that mixture well to combine. Gochujang is a Korean chili paste, and gochugaru is Korean chili flakes. You may have trouble finding them at your regular grocery store, but Whole Foods should have them, or you can just order them online. Next, you're going to cut up your vegetables. Start by washing the dirt off of about 4 ounces or 113 grams of mushrooms and cut them into quarters or maybe even sixths or eighths if they are big mushrooms. After you get your mushrooms chopped, add them to the bowl with your mayo marinade to clear your cutting board and prepare to cut your remaining vegetables. Next, we're going to do 1 medium red bell pepper or about 150 grams. Cut the pepper into a large dice, shoot for squares of about 1 to 2 inches. Remember, these are going on kebabs, so bigger pieces are usually a bit better. Also, the color of the pepper doesn't really matter here. If you wanted to use a green pepper, that would actually probably look better visually. I just prefer red peppers over any other color. Add the pieces to the bowl with your mushrooms and your mayo marinade, and then last but not least, for our vegetables, we need to cut up 1/2 of a small sweet onion or about 75 grams. Try to make your cuts so that these pieces of onion are roughly the same size as the pieces of your red peppers. Make sure you break them up so you separate all the layers and add to the bowl with your peppers and mushrooms. Our final cutting step is to chunk up 1 pound or 454 grams of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I always save the chicken cutting for last so I don't have to get out a new cutting board or knife to prevent any cross-contamination in case I wanted to do something else with those vegetables. Again, for this step, you're going to shoot for cuts to make your chicken pieces about 1 to 2 inches in size. Once it's all been cut, spread it out into a single layer and season lightly with salt and pepper on both sides. Then you can add your chicken into the bowl with your vegetables and sauce, and we're going to mix that up until everything is thoroughly coated. Get in there with your hands and make sure that every piece of chicken and vegetable are coated in the marinade. This sauce is going to help us achieve better and more even browning of the food, so this isn't a step to pass over because this is where the flavor will come from. If you aren't in a rush to eat, allowing this to marinate for 30 minutes to an hour can help you to develop even stronger flavor into those meat and vegetables. The last couple of times I made this, I just skewered and cooked them immediately because I was too hungry, and they still turn out tasting great. The next step is to load up everything onto some skewers. I like to lay down a sheet of parchment paper to catch any drips, and so I have something to lay the finished kebabs on. This doesn't have to be made in kebab form if you don't want to skewer anything. You can just throw it all into the air fryer or a skillet if you wanted to. I like it this way though because it's fun and it's something different. The kebab also makes it easier to turn the food when it comes time to flip, and it makes reheating leftovers a breeze. You can just grab a stick out of the fridge and throw it right into the air fryer to reheat. To cook them, preheat your air fryer to 400 degrees Fahrenheit on the air fry setting and add as many kebabs to the basket as you can fit. You're going to cook these in the air fryer at 400 for 10 to 12 minutes, flipping them halfway through. Having them on the skewer makes this part easy because you can just pick them up and twist to the other side. Return to the air fryer and finish cooking for 5 to 6 more minutes or until you have good browning on all those pieces. After the kebabs have finished cooking, pull them out of the air fryer and serve them with a side of rice. What you're looking for is to get a good amount of color on each of those pieces of chicken and vegetables. The air fryer makes this really easy to do. As I mentioned earlier, you can cook these in a skillet or in the oven if you wish, but it just doesn't compare to using the air fryer or a grill if you ask me. If you go with the oven method, I would recommend using the broiler and placing them on the top shelf to achieve better browning. You'll just have to watch them closely to make sure that they don't burn. For the entire recipe, not including any rice, we've got 970 calories and 82 grams of protein. You would need to divide this by however many kebabs you made. I made 7, so each of mine has about 139 calories and 12 grams of protein. I've included the full written recipe for how you can make these Korean chicken kebabs in the description of this video below. If you like this recipe and you want more like it, you can go check out my website, mealprepmanual.com. That's it for this week. See you next time.